Like, I don't know if you guys have heard about that experiment with I don't know if it's the monkeys or the mice, but basically, there's like a button, and then if you press the button, if you press the green button or a red button, um, it like drops a sugar cube or something. But if you press the red button, it will pour like cold water on the rest of the other monkeys, not on you. If you press, but then what they kept doing is they kept letting the same monkeys in the same group do that experiment over and over between themselves. So they all learned that pressing the red button is bad for the other monkeys, not for you as the monkey pressing it, but for the other monkeys in the cage because water will drop on them, right? But then when they were now introduce a new monkey, because this monkey didn't know this rule, when it would press the button and water would fall on them, but it would still get the sugar cube. When they would now reintroduce that new monkey to the rest of them, the rest of the old monkeys will fuck that monkey up, and they will keep fucking that monkey up until that monkey learnt not to press the button, even though that monkey wasn't part of the original experiment, so that monkey didn't know, like didn't understand that rule, but the
Yeah.
community taught the rule to the monkey. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Quick disclaimer, I explained it wrong, so just pause it here and read. And I feel like that's what happens with the black community because of how we've been conditioned to be, because of marginalization, racism, oppression, whatever. We've now been conditioned to not necessarily oppress ourselves, but to comfortably be in the box that we know we as black people can be in. So like we are comfortable being, not necessarily tracksuit-ish, but like just being black.
Though.
Like it's like if you're not being typically black, it's like what are you doing? If you're the black person that listens to goth metal now, you're a weirdo growing up. Do you know what I mean? If you're the black person that's into anime or into dyeing your hair or piercings, you're weird. Do you know what I'm saying? When really and truly it's like you're still a person outside of being black.
Yeah.
But that's me going off on a tangent again, because really and truly we said we were talking about femininity, sexuality,
I know, but we
objectification.
end up just.
But the conversation is still good.
But my thing is though, it's interesting how you say that, because I feel like even with those monkeys, aside from the influence of them being in that situation in the first place, they still create. Is there a term for a group of people kind of conditioning themselves because of being conditioned anyway by something external? Is there a term for that? Like second, like say that's like generational trauma or something. So like, but not like generational, like from previous like family, whatever. But like.
But you know what I would say is, I feel like there probably is a term for that. But what I really want to say about that is the fact that I feel like, but that's what as people has allowed us to develop.
Yeah.
That ability to pass on learning without having to directly learn is why we've actually come so far. So it's like one of the tools I feel like was supposed to help us advance. We found a way to like halt our own advancement.
But then again, at the same time, if all those monkeys, sorry, I could go back to the monkeys. That's a really interesting study. Sorry, but if those monkeys taught themselves that, you know what, for the team, so we can all at least get one cube, we just all take rounds just firming it. But I guess some people don't see things like that. That way, we still get a cube.
Yeah, but that's only if the monkey pressing the button is smart enough to keep the cube and not eat it.
Oh, they don't eat the cubes. I just assume they eat the cubes.
No, as in, the way the experiment works is there's a button.
Yeah.
There's some monkeys in a cage or in a room.
And they don't get it. They get it.
Yeah, only the monkey that presses the button gets the sugar cube. But every time he presses the button and gets that sugar cube, the rest of the other monkeys get drenched with cold water.
I know, but and then what do they do with the sugar cube?
The monkey that pressed the button gets to eat the cube.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say though. But I'm saying if they all really wanted a cube.
But that's what I'm trying to say. But that monkey pressing the button would have to know not to eat the cube and just keep it and then bring it to the rest of the monkeys.
Oh,
because they're
smart.
separated.
Oh, I didn't know that. No, wait, what?
They're not together. They can see each other, but they're not in the same space.
Yeah, that's calm, but they still will all get.
How would they all get a cube?
Because I take my cube. Cool, I have it now. I eat.
That's what I'm saying. You'd have to.
Oh yeah. That's fine. But then the next monkey that's gonna press it,
it's the same. Because remember, the way the experiment works is the group of monkeys know the rule. The introduced monkey doesn't know that if you press the button, you'll get drenched with cold water.
I know, but I'm not talking about the new monkey. Before we even get to the new monkey.
Oh, you're saying like when they're teaching them this rule in the first place, the monkeys would. I guess that's why they use monkeys, isn't it?
Fair enough.
Because it was to see if how.
Like, I would have said, like, for example, if it wasn't cute, let's say it was actual food like to help them live, yeah. We would all die if we forever teach ourselves only cold water so none of us eat. But if we build a community that shares, what's that, equity, takes on responsibility so everyone eats. There's two type of people in this world. There's some people that will half their bread,
I feel like that would work until
and someone
I feel like
that
that
just
would
says,
work.
"I don't give a fuck about
No,
you."
I agree, and I feel like that would work until one monkey says this: "I'm the one. We're the ones that are actually bearing with the cold water. So
That-
shouldn't
had
we
that
get
one
more?"
guy.
Or
But if
there
you
will
all
be,
take turns,
or there will be.
having that
But that's what I'm
cup, then
saying.
all-
But then that would be. I'm saying that might work for a while. That might work. But I'm saying there will always be that one individual that
Yes.
goes. I feel like the work we're doing is more, so we should get more.
Yeah, even if it's the same amount.
Exactly.
Sure.
And once that happens, it's a case of perspective now becomes
Yeah.
the determining factor. Whoever believes they're doing more work believes they should get more food, irrespective of what's actually going on anymore. And I feel like it's once you start going down
We know
that line,
that's greed, man.
too greedy.
You seen that? That's so funny.
That's literally how it. And I feel like that's how we get to it. But yeah, I keep getting sidetracked. What I was going to say back to the whole like blackness and us policing each other is I feel like when you're now also in an industry that is like closely linked to concepts like race, individual identity, things like that, even if you're not directly, whether you are a member of that community already, I feel like you need to be aware because of essentially that whole representation thing we just talked about. But then I also feel like if you're also not a member of that community that might be linked to that concept or whatever in that industry, I think you also still need to be aware just in case you find yourself perpetuating ideas that already existed as your own or as brand new original ideas, because they might be new ideas and original ideas to you, but in that community wherever they may have already existed, and it's going to be perceived as an insult or just another overstep if that happens, which is why it always, even in terms of things like this, approach is always important. Because even if I was unaware, if I come with not even just a humble approach, but if I come with an approach like somebody that actually wants to learn, not like I'm discovering, do you know what I mean? Then people wouldn't look at you, or people wouldn't come down on you with such animosity or such aggression if something like that was to occur, because they would understand that you were learning, you were not claiming, you were not titling, you were not, do you know what I'm saying?
At the end of the day, a lot of things are too edged sword, because even if we don't see us, like, even if we don't always give ourselves the grace of like individualism, there's always going to be other people that also won't be doing that. And like, so, for example, stereotypes and stigmas, etc., expectations, or not even expectations, but how someone presumes that you're gonna be like before they've even really interacted with you, just based on appearance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and not just appearance, but the things
from
that those
background,
those things in your appearance link to
100%,
they'll now have built up an idea of you
before they've even spoken to you, and that's crazy.
But I feel like those are linking back to what I was saying before. Those are the mechanisms and the tools that have allowed us to develop this far. But I think what we're forgetting is that those tools allowed us to come this far. Now we're this far, our lives are now complex. We can let go of some of these tools and develop new ones, pick up new ones, because these tools aren't helping us.
We're too hardwired.
It's true, we are too hardwired. That's what's messing us up at this point.
That is what's messing us up, and it trickles down to different things. Like I said about the media, how things are perceived, how things are seen, why people women are objectified, all them stuff.
And the education system isn't really helping, because instead of teaching us to be more flexible with our thinking, instead of teaching kids to be more creative, to be more diverse, to basically encourage individuality, representation of any kind, we're essentially just being taught to be more rigid, to be battery powers for the economy. That's what you're being taught how to do in school. You're taught to get to school for 8 o'clock, leave school for 3, which is basically what you'll be doing when you start working on 9 to 5. Sorry, kids, but that's what they're preparing you for. Not preparing you for anything fun. It's not so you know how to wake up early or so you build healthy life. No, it's so you already know to wake up in the morning when it's time for work, and you already know what time work finishes. Yeah, they're planning your body clock so that even when you don't work a normal day job, you want to wake up in the morning. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what they're preparing you for. So wake up now, because
and if you're gonna want things to motivate you and stuff, do things that actually find information, or if you're gonna seek it for information, like research, whatever, do it through like things that are relatable to you. Because I'm not being funny, and this is really random thought. I know they say you don't judge a book by its cover, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't judge a book by its cover, but I sometimes do look at who the author is, because then I get not to say I know what the book's gonna be about, but I kind of have a rough idea that of what things that may be left out, and 8 out of 10 times it's usually the case. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, and obviously depends on the type of book, but certain things like...
Are you talking about books or is this a metaphor?
No, I'm actually talking about like books. Like, for example, like there's self-help books that be like, okay, you can do this, you can, achieve your goals or do X, Y, and Z.
Why are you talking about books?
I don't know. But I'm just saying, you know what, long story short, find things that are relatable. I was giving an example, but that's actually going to be like a long example.
I thought it was a metaphor.
Oh, was it? No. But you know what, that too, I mean, if you start metaphorically, then take what you did.
Because you started on stereotypes, like you use stereotypes
I
too, and then
know.
you said that's why I don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah,
And then you actually started talking about books, but I thought the book was a metaphor for don't judge a book.
Yeah, I got you mean, but no, it was actually just a different thought. Just more about if people want to like motivate themselves, etc. I thought just find information that is relatable to you, or that includes what you actually like.
Yeah, that
what you actually face.
I swear that's what I used to tell you before.
Probably, I don't know. Probably.
I used to tell you if you want to like not be bored, actually just develop what you're interested in. It doesn't have to be a deep interest, but that thing, whether it's reading books, whether it's taking pictures,
but I don't even
painting,
that,
drawing.
But I mean that too.
Just lean into it a little bit more. Even when you're in school, like, let me tell you now, that subject you're studying that you really, 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 really love, one day you're gonna get tired of it. So that thing you're already doing, that's not a subject. That's not and not necessarily not a subject, but that thing you're doing that you don't have to go to school to do, that you find yourself doing every day, day in and day out, whether it's playing football, playing basketball, gymnastics, that one instrument, that one video game, taking apart your computer, putting it back together. Yo, just keep doing it, develop it, make it more complicated, make it more intricate, make it more complex. Just keep doing it. And I'm telling you, one day you're gonna find out it pays you. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I'm telling you now.
Anything can pay.
Anything can pay you. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Because what you end up doing if you don't listen is you put yourself in a box based off of the options they have told you have.
Trust me.
And there are loads of options they aren't telling you about.
It's true.
Like, there are so many options they aren't telling you about. And there's so many options they don't even know exist themselves.
Yeah.
Like, what nobody wants to tell you is the world is actually figuring itself out as it goes along.
Oh my God.
There are no rules
so
for this.
True.
It's not just people that are figuring themselves. The world is figuring itself out. Like, the world isn't like I don't know how many days the world has existed for, right? But tomorrow will be another, like, not even just tomorrow. Next year, the world will be another year older. You know, the world doesn't know what's going to happen. As in, if we're going to say the world is a person in itself, or like a concept of living being, we're going to say it has X amount of age. That means even the world itself doesn't know what's going to happen tomorrow. The world itself doesn't know what's going to happen next year. So even the world itself is taking everything a day at a time and discovering new things in and of itself.
That's so true.
So why would you as a person take every exactly? Why would you take every option that's given to you and think, oh my God, I've got to, not even necessarily, oh my God, I've got to figure X, Y, and Z out, but just always remember that there are probably more options than are on the sheet in front of you. Tomorrow might present more options. That doesn't mean you need to wait for the options to get better for you, but just always give yourself the freedom to actually develop and do what you want. Don't allow yourself to feel boxed in, because the minute you feel like you're boxed in, you will start restricting your decisions. You'll restrict yourself, and you will never, once you're in that box, you feel too shy to come out of it yourself. You feel like, who can accept me if I come out? Where will I find my group of people? But if you started all of this stuff early, you won't have to find a group of people. You will literally look up one day and be like, yo, I'm comfortable where I am. Because you've always been doing whatever it is you wanted to do. Do you know what I mean? And now the people around you are also doing the same.
It's much easier said than done.
It is much easier said than done.
Like, you're going to have people that are going to be hell-bent, like, they know best.
And do you know what? Do you know what it is? I feel like it is easier said than done. But the only people I know in my life that have managed to do this thing, and when I say I know them, I don't even know them like, I don't know them like personally. I just mean like the people I've observed. One thing I can say for a fact, they all have in common, even if it's minute and even if it's only because of something like ADHD, they all have super focus. When it comes to one thing, they can focus. Like, it's not, they might not be good at school, they might not be good at anything, but they have that one thing they will focus on. And there were some people in school where that was their thing. Like, they in school, they could apply that focus. So people would be like, oh my God, smart. But that was because they knew how to direct their focus and apply it. It's just with most of us, we can't direct our focus. We just only focus on things we're already interested in innately. And we find that those things are things that we can really hammer down on. So what I'm saying to you is, if you manage to discover what that your focus is early on, keep your head there and focus. The minute you look up, you'll see that you're surrounded by your people and you won't be stressed. And if you're someone who knows how to direct your focus on whatever it is you want to be, hey, big up you, because then you can actually, like, you know, plan out a route and go in the direction you want to go in. Do you know what I mean? Just, I'll let you know that, you know, disclaimer, your mind can change. And just remember that your focus, don't let it get fatigued. Always keep it sharp and always be able to direct it to the next place you want to go. Because, like, as people, life comes with change. Do you know what I mean? You're not always going to be wanting the same thing. And don't feel like because you've aimed your focus on one thing, it has to be that for forever. We're human. We change. Allow yourself to be flexible. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only advice I'll give you. And I feel like we have been chatting for a minute now. Didn't even set a timer. But this has been the Corner Convos, and we'll see you next time, guys. Bye. I've been saying it's a mystery.